Hi, I'm Emily Pearson with the course 585 ESL Leadership at Georgetown. And I have with me Dawn Fouts, who is a kindergarten teacher at Camp Taylor Elementary. And we are going to be talking about the ESL program at her school. So Camp Taylor has a pretty high population of ESL children. There's actually 25% Hispanic and 2% Asian when I looked at the data, but as we discussed, that's probably not accurate. There are probably more. It's just how they've been identified. Also some students from Africa as well.
Well, now that I'm thinking about it, I have 9 out of 21 students that are ESL students.
ESL, okay.
So
just in your, that's
almost 50%.
Yes, almost 50. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the approach in your classroom as far as with the ESL teacher? Is it a pull in or a push out?
It's a pull out.
Pull out.
She will come 2 times a day. And she will get a group of 4 and then a group of 5 in the afternoon. Okay. She wants to start out with the small groups. Eventually, she may just make it into one big group. We'll see how things go.
When she has them, how much time would you say?
It's probably a 30 minutes, probably, around that time. Mm-hmm.
And what are the advantages you feel of that approach?
I think they are, they're getting reinforcement on the alphabets. Of course, they're kindergarten, and they're learning the sounds and the alphabet and the letters and the numbers. And I'm sure she's probably going over that with them right now. Okay. And I know you had said anything about disadvantages. I don't think there's any disadvantages to the program. When they are gone, the rest of the students are either doing a writing activity with their letters, or they might be reading a story. So it's not a lesson that they are missing.
Okay.
So it's called intervention time. So we're just doing supplement on top of what we're teaching in class.
Okay. So the scheduling, there's no issues. What about the placement? Do you feel like all of the students are being serviced that need it, or do you see where things need to change?
I guess about the 3rd week of school, they were asking our opinion if anyone else needed to be in the program. We've given her some names, and she has added a couple of students, but there is one in particular. The more that we work with her, I think it would be better off for her to go to the program as well, but she is not yet doing that. They're going to have to get data and look over that.
Okay.
So they're in the process of doing that.
Okay. What for your school? Do they offer any professional development or training in faculty meetings that's geared toward ESL teaching?
We do have a Go Clarity coach at our school, and she does meet with the different grade levels, and I'm sure she meets with the ESL teachers as well. And they have a professional learning community, so they talk about things that they're going to do.
That's good. That's very good. Okay, so it sounds like they're in the right place there. That's good. What about an interpreter? Have you had to use an interpreter in your classroom? It's fine.
Okay.
If you do that, but it's still funny.
I have a couple of students. Actually, I told you about the one that speaks Swahili. We have a staff member that is fluent in that language, and we also have another one that is fluent in Arabic and Hispanic or Spanish. So I've used those 2 staff with Swahili to talk to parents about, just getting their folders returned every day and getting their assignment notebook signed and, just making that contact.
So will they call?
They will. They will call. They will call. I have had the Spanish teacher. She has written notes for me and I've sent some home.
Okay.
So
see, that's you have those good resources. Okay. Okay, great. Moving on. Are there, okay, so it is important that these English language learners speak their first language as well, even though they are attaining the English skills. Are there opportunities in the classroom that you see where they are allowed to? I know they're kindergarten, so it's still pretty simple, but write or speak their native language with each other, or the groupings, or
Well, we just recently opened a fourth kindergarten class, and there were two students in my classroom that talks Swahili, and they work together. And at one point, I used one of the little girls to help me talk to another individual. And so, yes, they use that language in that sense. At the carpet, they're allowed to, count in Spanish their numbers. And yes, we do
So it's
embrace that.
encouraged. Okay.
It's encouraged. We don't discourage it.
And you were talking earlier too, something called wellness, which is like.
Oh, we do have wellness at the end of the day, about a half an hour,
Okay.
and they get to play with their classmates,
Okay.
and I have heard them, use their language.
Okay,
It's
great.
it's really cute because they just carrying on like they're not in the classroom. They're so quiet in the classroom, but during that time, they're just talking up a storm.
They have
so
the
cute.
confidence. That's great.
They do.
Do you have any books in your classroom?
That's one thing that we do not. I don't notice that. And in the library, I haven't noticed them bringing books in different languages. No.
So are there some, I'm sure, that are cultural, but just they're in English?
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. So that would be one recommendation, because just to have some reinforcement, whether in the library or in your classroom, to have some, and some, like I have found Hispanic books a lot easier than some of the other ones, just at regular bookstores. But I don't know. I'll look on Amazon and see. Now you have me interested in seeing what's out there. So, what about there's something called code switching, where an English language learner will go back and forth in their sentences between their native language and English. Do you ever notice any of that with your, like, where they have a sentence and they don't quite remember the English words, so they use the Spanish or Swahili?
I have a lot of students that are hesitant about talking, so you can tell that they're trying to think about what they're trying to say. So they're very quiet, and if they need to tell you something, it could take a while for them to tell you. So, no, I don't notice them using their different language. I notice them trying to
get it right.
Yes,
okay.
Get it right with English.
What about, there's also the silent period, where it sounds like you might have some where they just won't speak at all.
I do. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, and I've even asked them to tell me something in their language, and they are very hesitant about that too. So
okay, well,
they don't want to hear. They don't want me to hear, but I mean, another individual in the classroom, they're okay with that.
Okay.
So,
well, just something that I've been learning in my course, we're reading this book, What School Leaders Need to Know About English Learners by Dormer. And it talks about different academic language. One is, it's called CALP. It stands for Cognitive Academic Language Proficiency, which is the language that students will need to master for assessment, say. And so that would be appropriate if you see, and as the year goes on, if they were going to prepare for presentation or writing, where you could make corrections to help them. But then there's also what's called BICS, the Basic Interpersonal Communication Skills, and that's their everyday conversation. And it's just, it would be better just to, if they make mistakes, as long as you're understanding, not to correct. Because it used to be that people would correct, and then they found that more of these students stopped talking. So, but that way. But it sounds like they have a good, welcoming classroom with yours. So, but real quick before we wrap up, something I noticed with Camp Taylor, they are trying to promote more parental and community involvement. That was in their action plan, that they really needed that. What do you see so far this school year
Well, we had a
for some
family.
changes.
We did have a family resource coordinator. We lost her. She retired the beginning of October or the end of September. She did have a family night, and we also had a fall festival the week before last on Friday, and kids came in and they were trick or treating in the school. So we do try to bring the families in, and I think they was very successful with the fall festival,
good.
so
Good.
that was good.
Okay.
So,
Well, hopefully it'll keep getting
Yeah.
better. So, all
Uh-huh.
right. Well, thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
speaking with me
You're
today
welcome.
about
Good luck to
your
you.
school. Thank you. You too.